Guru Nation, how's it going? I wanted to do a quick video. I've covered this before. Chris and I have covered it before. I've covered it by myself before. We covered it in the Site Owner Academy a lot. But I realized that sometimes repeating the same things is good because the context is different, and I'm always getting asked the same question over and over again. And we're actually going to do a full podcast on this. We've done webinars on related topics. So it's, how do you know what's fair to pay your PI, and how do you know what's fair when you want to open up a clinic with this PI? So the answer, like most things in clinical research, is it's all over the place. There is no fair. Fair is what someone else is willing to pay for something. So in my opinion, I differentiate what's fair. I have a line in the sand, if you will, although it's very loose line. It's not very straight. Okay, but I try to stick with this macro concept of, are you using your own office or are you using the PI's office? And so let's start there, and then add one layer on top of that as well. Are you looking for what's fair to compensate your PI as an independent contractor, or are you looking to partner with them as an equity partner in your business? I would not recommend hiring a PI as an employee, especially when you're just starting out, like as a W-2 employee, because first of all, they'd be extremely expensive. You wouldn't be able to afford it as a startup research clinic. Now, once you're an established clinic with 20, 30 studies going on, oh yes, you want full-time PIs. W-2 wouldn't be a bad idea. But for most 99% of you watching, it's going to be either an independent contractor or a LLC or corporation business partner. Okay, so that's first. The second thing is, are you going to partner with them? Are you going to run the studies out of their office or out of yours? Then, who's paying the rent? Are you sharing the rent? Are you the one paying the rent? Is the PI the one paying the rent? That all varies. Right there, that is my first line in the sand, if you will. So, and by the way, compensating a percentage as an independent contractor or partnering, equity partner, we're going to use the same numbers because it's really the same principle. Okay, so if they are paying the rent, if it's their office, if you're relying on them for their patients, if you're using any of their staff in any capacity and they're not charging you for it, they're paying utilities, okay? This is, to me, in my opinion, the PI can and should, what's fair is anywhere up to 50% of either the company or the revenues from the studies that they're the PI for. Up to 50%. And the reason is they're paying for everything, right? It's their office, their patients, their staff, their utilities. You're just bringing your research capabilities in there. Whether you're going to be the coordinator or just the person bringing in studies, 50% is fair. And 50% would be fair if you're full-time dedicated to this PI. Not that you have 20 PIs and all you're going to do is send them studies, because that's not worth 50% for you in that case. But I'm not saying you can't negotiate that either, and this is why this stuff gets complex, is because there's no rules, there's no guidelines, there's just a wide variety of different numbers and different situations that people have. Now, let's say the opposite is the case. It's your office, you're paying the rent, you're paying the utilities, you're helping recruit patients. Of course, the PI should always help recruit patients, but you're doing a lot of that. I think what's fair is somewhere around 20 to 30%. Now, you can get away with as low as 10, and I would feel okay if you went as high as 35, depending on how desperate you are, but stay somewhere within the 20 to 30% range. of what you're going to pay them to be your PI as an independent contractor, 20 to 30% of the gross revenues. Or if they're a business partner, 20 to 30% of the company itself. So in this case, it'll be the net profits, but it's the net profits of all studies, whether they're the PI on it or not. If they're an equity partner, they're an equity partner. So those are some things you want to consider. As always, seek legal counsel. I am not an attorney, nor do I play one on YouTube, but that in a nutshell, and we're going to expand on this further in a podcast coming up soon. I'll get Chris on it. But I just wanted to put this video out there to answer this person's question, and I think there's a lot of people out there in the same situation. So hopefully this helps. 10 to 30 if you're paying most of the stuff and it's your clinic. Up to 50 if it's their clinic and they're paying for most of the stuff. Whether you want to be a business partner with them or not is important, because as an equity partner, you share in all profits, whether they're PI or not. They can retire and they're still a owner of the LLC. They're entitled to all profits that come out of that company. Or if they're just strictly an independent contractor, because maybe you don't know them well enough to be a business partner, but then you can always use the business equity as a carrot on a stick, if you will. Hey, if you stick around long enough as an independent contractor and we like the way we work together, I don't mind making you an equity partner and giving you a higher percentage in the form of equity. So just some different strategies to play with. There's a lot, of course, and of course there's no rules. So you do, now there are rules with fair market value and anti-kickback stuff, but that's where you need attorneys. I'm not giving any advice about that here, because I don't know much about it and I'm not an attorney, and those things are recipes for lawsuits if you don't tread carefully. But as far as compensating an independent contractor and making a PI an equity partner, those numbers, in my opinion, are what's fair and what I've seen in the industry for the past decade or more. Talk to you soon. Hopefully this helps. Take care.